was wafting through the most romantic city on earth, a vision in paper white, lending her regal presence to France's famous Fashion Week. Her first time at the shallow shows where thin models and thick men wear stupidly expensive clothes.
Sources close to Harry and Meghan have revealed they were shocked by Meghan's solo Paris trip last week, saying her latest relaunch left them deeply concerned about her marriage to Prince Harry. What more can you tell me?
They said Paris was supposed to be Meghan Markle's grand redemption, her glamorous comeback to the world stage. The city of lights, love, and luxury was about to witness her rebirth. A vision in paper white, the Duchess drifted through the streets like a living Dior ad, regal, calm, unbothered. Cameras flashed, fashion insiders whispered, and for one breathtaking second, it looked like she had finally done it, conquered the headlines instead of being devoured by them.
Markle in Paris. Rather more desperate than Emily in Paris and nowhere near as entertaining, it came out of the blue, utterly unexpected. Suddenly, the difficult Duchess was wafting through the most romantic city on earth.
But beneath the shimmer, a different story was quietly taking shape. A story written not in diamonds or applause, but in numbers, invoices, receipts, and a hotel bill that would soon detonate into one of the most embarrassing scandals of her post-royal life.
A mom's night out in Paris. The Duchess of Sussex taking her 4.2 million Instagram followers on a get ready with me journey to the Balenciaga show.
It started, as these things often do, with whispers. Paris Fashion Week, Balenciaga. Rumors that Meghan would make a surprise appearance, not as a guest, but as a statement. Word spread fast. She was coming, she had a look, and she was about to own the moment. By the time she arrived at the Plaza Athénée, the paparazzi were already waiting. The flashes made it look like an Oscar red carpet. Meghan, radiant in a snow-white coat and oversized shades, looked thrilled. She believed, insiders said, that this was her new beginning.
Meghan Markle actually invited herself to this Paris Fashion Week show earlier this month. Now, the Balenciaga designer.
And in fairness, the images were stunning. For a few hours, Paris belonged to her, until the receipts surfaced, because what no one knew at first was that her luxury stay, the penthouse suite, the private security, the designer dining hadn't been booked by her or by Archewell. It was made under the name of a corporate sponsor, nothing unusual in celebrity circles, until one French gossip outlet printed the name attached to that corporate account. The brand was Balenciaga.
Say much for this publication. I mean, really, Meghan Markle, how is she powerful? How is she an inspiration to women? She married someone famous from what I can work out.
At first, fans thought it made sense. Meghan wearing Balenciaga to the Balenciaga show, a brand partnership maybe, a soft collab. But within 24 hours, that illusion shattered. Sources inside the fashion house told reporters they had never agreed to sponsor her trip, never paid for her stay, never even confirmed her attendance. They said she'd used their name to secure perks and access, an implied association that didn't exist.
Really takes some doing. But this is Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet. This weekend, she decided to invoke the memory of dead Princess Diana.
And that's when Paris exploded. Balenciaga denies funding Meghan Markle's Paris stay, screamed the headlines. Twitter lit up. Memes poured in. Supporters were stunned. Critics were gleeful. And Meghan, the woman who once turned silence into strategy, stayed completely quiet. No photos, no statements, just an eerie absence that said more than any press release ever could.
Did Prince Harry humiliate Meghan Markle by ditching her at a New York City event last week to dine alone?
Behind the scenes, it wasn't quiet at all. A source close to Archewell told one tabloid that Harry was blindsided, completely unaware of how the trip had been arranged. He thought it was a brand-approved event, a harmless PR push for her lifestyle relaunch. But when the invoices appeared online, it looked less like a comeback and more like a con. "It's the optics, Meghan," he reportedly told her. "You said we were done with this." That single word, optics, has haunted their marriage ever since.
for the time being, it's impossible for me to take my family back.
Because for all their talk of independence, every headline, every photo, every whisper keeps dragging them back into the world they tried to escape, a world obsessed with money, image, and who pays for what. But Paris wasn't done humiliating them. Days later, a new name surfaced. An American entertainment investor based in Los Angeles with deep Hollywood ties. Reporters noticed that the payments for Meghan's suite came through a firm he partially owned. Let's call him Mr. X. Years ago, Meghan had allegedly pitched him a women's empowerment brand, the same project that would later morph into her as ever lifestyle line. Emails, some leaked, some allegedly verified, showed friendly correspondence between them. It wasn't proof of wrongdoing, but it was enough to fuel a storm.
And what was happening here? Why is she so shiny? It's like she got a bottle of Soul Glow.
The question shifted from who paid to why. Why would an investor with no official partnership cover a royal-level stay in Paris? Was it business? Was it friendship? Was it something else? His team called it a clerical error, a billing mix-up. Meghan's team went silent again. And once silence enters a story like this, people start filling in the blanks themselves.
What's quite interesting, I think, when you look at all of this, that she is definitely suffering at the moment from a career slump until...
By now, the damage was spreading across industries. Fashion insiders whispered that several luxury houses quietly blacklisted her. Not officially, of course. Fashion never says the word blacklist out loud. They just stop calling. Invitations vanish. Stylists suddenly become unavailable. For someone trying to rebuild her image through style, that's a death sentence.
Yes, one person said she looked as if she was wearing toilet paper. So I think that they were not very impressed by it.
Who wore it better? And one thing that I noticed is that whatever Meghan was wearing, it was her moment to shine.
And while Paris shut its doors, Hollywood rolled its eyes. PR consultants told Page Six that brands were nervous about working with her. Nobody wanted to risk being dragged into another perception mess. Even loyal fans started wavering. Under her posts, longtime defenders began leaving uneasy comments. If she lied about the hotel, what else has she exaggerated?
Is this going to turn it around? That is the question, because Samara Gill said she is in one of the worst professional places ever.
Each new rumor chipped away at what was left of the Meghan mystique, that aura of controlled grace and victim-turned-visionary narrative that had once made her so magnetic. Now, even supporters could sense the shift. The story was no longer about unfair treatment. It was about credibility.
But we need to talk about this whole Balenciaga pushing, and she, with this, let's say...
And inside the palace, they couldn't resist. Royal aides leaked that her trip proved the crown right. That Meghan still played by her own rules. One reportedly joked that the only royal thing about her Paris visit was the price tag. Brutal, but it stuck.
So, Angela, do you buy into the idea that she's doing this now, and that the reason that she's bowed out from the spotlight over the past few months is that because, as ever, has been a bit of a disaster, even she acknowledges that, so she knew she had to come back.
Then came the cruelest twist. Harry's name appeared on some of the leaked hotel paperwork, even though he hadn't been in Paris. Critics seized it immediately. Did Prince Harry benefit from a fake sponsorship? They asked. Even if he didn't, the question itself was enough to sting. The Sussexes were back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons again.
It doesn't work for you to shoulders back, breasts out, headlights going, head up, and try to look as bitchy as possible. And stride.
When Meghan returned to California, insiders said the silence between them was deafening. Harry, humiliated. Meghan, inconsolable. She canceled appearances. Meetings were postponed. For a woman who lives through image, this was an emotional collapse. She thought Paris would fix everything, said one friend. Instead, it destroyed what little credibility she had left.
That is what the kids call a sweaty tryhard. It's obvious. I can see you're trying. I feel uncomfortable. I have kind of secondhand embarrassment for you. If you can't pull it off naturally, please don't try. Please just walk out like a normal person would walk. Otherwise, everything about you, as per usual with this gal, is alienating.
But the storm didn't end there. As journalists followed the money trail, another rumor surfaced that a UK documentary team had obtained copies of those same receipts. If true, that means the Paris scandal won't just fade away. It'll be immortalized on screen, dissected frame by frame. And if that happens, there's no palace PR machine to smother it, no royal protocol to hide behind. Just facts, or at least paper that looks like facts, laid bare. For Meghan, who built her entire post-royal identity on the idea of controlling her story, that's the ultimate nightmare. Because once the story leaves her hands, she can't spin it anymore. Still, the saddest part of this whole spectacle isn't the scandal itself, it's the pattern. Every time she tries to reinvent herself, the same cycle repeats. A grand entrance, a flood of admiration, then the inconsistencies, the whispers, the crash. Hollywood knows this rhythm by heart, and Paris just played it in full. Now, industry insiders say she's persona non grata at major fashion houses. Her once glamorous network is shrinking, former allies have gone silent, and even her publicists are said to be reevaluating the global humanitarian chic strategy that used to define her brand. It's not that people suddenly hate her, it's that they've stopped believing her. Back in Montecito, one neighbor claimed the energy around their estate feels different, quieter, heavier, as though the whole place has gone dim. Another said she saw Meghan walking alone early in the morning, head down, hoodie up, no cameras, no entourage. Maybe the Paris fallout finally forced her to confront what everyone else has seen for years. The glitter doesn't last when the trust is gone. Because here's the truth beneath the gossip. The receipts, the outrage, the memes, they're all symptoms of one deeper problem, a credibility gap. Meghan Markle doesn't seem to realize that modern audiences can forgive anything except inconsistency. We can handle flaws, but not contradictions. We can accept ambition, but not pretense. She left the palace to escape image manipulation, and now she's accused of manipulating her own. She condemned royal privilege, and now she's accused of chasing brand privilege. She spoke about independence, yet every headline revolves around who paid the bill. That's the paradox she hasn't solved. And unless she does, every comeback will crumble the same way this one did, under the weight of its own contradiction. In the end, Paris wasn't a scandal about money. It was a mirror. It reflected everything she's been trying to hide: the need for approval, the hunger for luxury, the obsession with perception. She wanted to be seen as independent, strong, untouchable. Instead, she looked like someone still trapped by the very machine she swore she'd outsmart. And maybe that's why this story hurts more than the others, because it isn't about cruelty or betrayal or the media twisting facts. It's about a woman who keeps stepping into her own traps. Paris was supposed to be the start of something new. Instead, it might be the full stop at the end of her old chapter. Behind those Montecito gates, the lights are still on, but they shine a little colder now. The fairy tale isn't over, but it's fractured. And the ghosts of the past, the palace, the press, the relentless chase for admiration have all found her again, clutching the same weapon they always use: receipts.